So, Coach, anticipating the season, just what are you looking to see for your first 2 weeks?
First, high energy in terms of how we go about in terms of on the ball, moving the ball. How we set up defensively. Some of the messaging that we've put forth to the group over the past couple of weeks, looking to see that play out and give us good pictures where we can just keep things moving forward.
Where do you feel like your group as a whole has improved over this offseason?
Technically, we're a better team without a doubt than we have been over the last couple of years. The team works so hard over in the winter and the spring. The technical aspect of things. The group that we brought in, we made sure they had a really good technical base. I feel as though, again, we've gone up another level in terms of how strong we are in the physical ability. So fair play to our sports science guys and strength and conditioning guys for helping with that piece. So I feel as though we're better equipped in those areas.
The sense of anticipation to take the field when you hoped to do that last week and then got it delayed. I mean, are you going to have to kind of hold them back a little bit? I imagine the enthusiasm's really building.
Yeah, I don't think we've ever really been a team that's been held back in the past couple of years. It's get after it and go after it and keep the foot down as long as we can. So no, they're ready to go, and we've been able to start ramping things up a little bit just in terms of the demands within sessions, and so we're poised, ready to go.
Season 3 for you.
Yeah.
Would anything less than an NCAA tournament appearance be a disappointment for this season?
I think anytime. Year 1 it was a disappointment. Year 2 was a disappointment. This is Oregon, right? So it's that's got to be our goal every single year. Walking away from last year, I felt as though we were the quality of a tournament team, and I felt as though we could have gone 2 games into the tournament at the very least with the team we had last year. So some things didn't go away, but that's sports, that's life, and so any time you sit here with me at the start of the season, that's going to be the goal.
You got Leah back in goal. She spent some time with the national team in the offseason. How has she progressed since we've last seen her?
Awesome. We've the entire group of goalkeepers. We've added 2 more in terms of Julia Richards and Anna Solomon. Maddie Goldberg's now fully fit as well. So we have a really good group of 4 of them, and they're bouncing off each other really, really well in sessions. So Leah's playing well, but so are the other 3 as well.
When you look at the defense, how tough is it to replace someone like a Chardonnay who's been just a leader on this team?
I'd say it's tough in terms of she was a good player, but we've had others who are ready to step up to the plate. We've had a Belle Raleigh, a transfer from USC, so she's experienced in terms of the Pac-12. So I think anytime you lose any players, you're always like, okay, how do you replace them? But we've got enough quality within this group that we can replace them.
Do you look for that backline group to kind of set the tone early and kind of stabilize you?
Yeah, it's always been a strength of ours in terms of what we've done. We've always kind of built from the back, made sure that base is there, and that allows us to defend different ways in games.
Last year, 9 shutouts. You talked about building from the back. How does the attacking forward have to improve to help give you more wins?
We created enough chances last year. We should have scored more goals. We were really honest with the group about that. I think you're looking at around a 30. If you're a 30% conversion rate or above, you're in good shape. And we were down, I think, at 23% last year. So we've got to jack that up to make sure we're able to score more goals. And if we do what we did last year in terms of creating the chances, now we've got to look at putting them away, and that'll take care of that for us.
And how specifically do you jack that percentage up?
It's the technical work that we did in the off-season, to be quite honest with you. It's making sure that when we're in front of goal, we're able to convert, and we put players into the right areas. And then we've got the players who will supply the ammunition. It's firing the ball in the back of the net.
Obviously, there's been different protocols in place over the course of the last couple of years. Has this off-season felt normal at all? Have you been able to get the work in you would have hoped to get in?
Yeah. It's felt more normal. So we've gotten a lot of stuff in. We've been able to get video out, and we do a lot of teaching through video as well. Get back to having regular meetings in person and breaking the group up. So it's been a good off season.
In the midfield, Zoe, she's been around a while. It's her last go round. What can we expect of her this season?
She's jumped on board more as a leader now as well. I think Zoe and I now have been together 2.5 years as well, so she knows exactly what I'm looking for. So I think with Zoe, her all-round game now, good in the air, good on the floor, is a great passer both over the short range and the longer range, and can score goals. So yeah, she's a good leader for us.
You talk about Zoe and that leadership. Who have been the leaders on your team, whether it be vocally or just leading by example?
Well, True's back as well, and those of you guys that spoke to me before know what I think about True from a talent perspective, and she's lending her experience to it. Chai's grown significantly over the 2.5 years we've been here, so she's shown more of a leadership role. Leah's stepping up, Kessel Moore, and then even adding Bell, who's been around the Pac-12 for 3 years. Those guys are stepping up, so we're a much more mature group, I think, than what we've had before.
How with Bell, as she's a transfer, how has she been integrating into this group and showing that she can showcase that leadership?
Yeah, great. I mean, it's there's no hierarchy at our place. Everyone's a duck the moment they arrive on campus. So yeah, she's been doing great.
You mentioned the Pac-12. There might not be 12 teams, in the future. Any thoughts on just how the conference is constantly changing?
You know what? I concentrate on the soccer piece of it, and I let all the higher ups take care of that piece. But it's for the next couple of years, we've got 12 teams in it, and it's still going to be a great conference.
You have Leah back in goal. How much of an emphasis, the 9 shutouts last year, is there pressure on her to sort of repeat that? How much of that is a relationship with the backline defense?
No pressure at all. I mean, I think all we focus on is the performance side of it. All those outcomes of the clean sheets, the wins, the goals we score, whatever it may be, that's just an outcome of us doing the things that we do and doing them really well.
The Stanford soccer team had a terrible tragedy in the offseason. I know a lot of your players played with Katie. Did that spark any conversations with the team?
Yeah. I mean, of course. I mean, the mental health side of thing is something we have to be aware of all the time. These kids are as close to pro athletes as you can get without being pro athletes, and so the great thing is the department supplies us with all the mental health experts and the resources to help these kids out. So it's a constant dialogue that's going on with the group, and we have an open policy that if someone needs a day off, then hey, they take an off day, no questions asked. And I think at times you get so focused on the physical aspect of things in athletics that we really must take a step back at times and make sure that these kids are doing okay mentally.
How much have you dove into New Mexico State and San Francisco, or are you still just focused on Oregon?
No, we've started to take a look at them both. I mean, we obviously played San Francisco last year. New Mexico State, really good in transition. They'll be big, they'll be physical. Rob will have them organised. He's a former University of Portland guy, so he knows Oregon well, and so they'll be a really tough first game. And then San Francisco, they'll be another team who, again, big physical. That was a ding dong of a battle last year when we played them. So really two really tough games to start the season.
How much early in the season do you try to rotate in some of the younger players, or try to solidify a starting 11?
No, I mean, we'll obviously have an 11 that will start the game, but yeah, we're looking to try to get other players into the game. I mean, this is a long season for us, and so we need to be able to share the load throughout the squad, and so we'll try to get players into the game and, to showcase the depth that we have.
You didn't chat winning schedule. You've got a tough slate.
Yeah.
Do you have a sense kind of for what your identity is going to be when you take the field for the first time, and what are the sorts of things you're really interested to learn over some of these tough battles that are coming up over the next few weeks?
I think our identity since we've gotten here has been we go toe-to-toe with anyone who we play. We don't back down from things, and that was one of the things when I took the position, I felt as though that was one thing that we needed to make sure was at the forefront of our identity, that we go toe-to-toe and we don't back down from anyone. So, when we set up the scheduling, that's what we look for, and that, prepares us for Pac-12 play.
You're playing a lot of home games against some really good teams.
Yeah.
UCLA, USC, Stanford, Santa Clara. Does playing in familiar territory offer any kind of psychological advantage? Is there a home field advantage there?
I would like to say, yeah, how we were unbelievable on the road last year as well. So, I mean, we only lost one game on the road, and that was to Stanford. So, we try not to make that big of a deal of it, whether at home or away. We're going to be who we're going to be. It's always great to play in Eugene, play in front of our fans, and so it's great that they get to see us a ton here.
Coach, last year you never lost when you scored first, also never won when the other team scored first. How much emphasis do you put on your team to, after that opposing team, if you do get down, to answer and then counter to try to get the victory?
We always want to score first. I mean, that's without a doubt. But if if we get scored upon, it doesn't change what we do. We have mechanisms in place, built in, for if we need to go get a goal, then we're going to do X or Y or whatever it may be. So we already have those things in place, and so, but ideally, yeah, we want to get the first goal.